Good evening, everyone. This is Mike, Gray 1951, or as some people like to call me, Gray followed by a number. And I'm here to do another episode of Genre Files. Forkerball brought back Genre Files a few days ago, totally out of the blue, and I wasn't ready, so I had to figure out something to watch. So the movie I have for you today, I don't know why I'm putting my glasses on. I don't need them yet. The movie I'm watching, that I've watched, it's not really a movie. It's a serial, okay? Called Panther Girl of the Kongo. That's Congo with a K. Includes all 12 sensational chapters, okay? I love these things. I love these old serials. I'm starting to collect them. I just think they're so cool and so much fun. Now, this was made in 1955, and that was actually, I think that was the last year that Republic Studios made serials. In fact, they only made one more after this, and then they got out of the serial business. But I think they made, I don't know how many they made over the years, a couple of hundred maybe. And there were other film companies that were making serials going all the way back to the 1910s. So it's a very, they were very popular for a very long time. But they, after 1955, they hung it up. Now, Panther Girl of the Kongo uses a lot of stock footage from another serial from 1941 called Jungle Girl. So they, they probably made this relatively cheaply because they used a lot of stock footage of the jungle. So here is the plot line. The plot really doesn't make any difference, but I'll tell you what it is anyway. All right, the jaw-dropping, eye-popping, edge-of-your-seat exploits of the fearless Panther Girl are brought vividly to life in the Republic Pictures serial Panther Girl of the Kongo, starring Phyllis Coates as Jean Evans, the Panther Girl of the title, Myron Healy as big game hunter Larry Sanders, and Arthur Space as the maddest of the mad scientists, Dr. Morgan. Okay, so a whole bunch of white people are living somewhere in West Africa, and the woman Jean Evans is actually a filmmaker. She's making she's doing shooting pictures, photographs, and yeah, I can't say it, motion pictures of wildlife for some kind of a foundation. And she got the reputation and the title of being the Panther Girl because during one of her visits there, she killed a black panther, which had been coming into the native village and killing people. So the natives just revere her as the Panther Girl, and they call her Bwana Lady, which is quite a respectful title, don't you think? And anyway, so in this story, Jean Evans is, well, there are two factions of natives. They don't like each other. They don't get along. And there are two different groups of white people, good white people and bad white people, who basically are living among the natives and letting them do all of their work for the white people. So Jean is trying to she has all these natives helping her carry her camera equipment and film and boxes of supplies out into the jungle to photograph all these animals. And the bad white people, the mad scientist, Dr. Morgan, and two of his henchmen, they are there because they have found that there is a huge supply of diamonds to be mined in that area, and they don't want anybody to know about it because they want all the diamonds and all the money for themselves. So Dr. Morgan, being a mad scientist, a genius, has found a way to scare everybody away from the area so that he and his henchmen will be able to dig for the diamonds in private at their leisure. He has this magic formula that he's concocted that will make animals or insects grow to gargantuous proportions. And he decides to create what he calls the claw monster. And he takes these crawfish, right? And he makes them feed on this liquid that makes them grow into claw monsters. They make sounds like they're really cool. So that's what Jean, when she's out photographing, right in the beginning of the serial, she sees one of the claw monsters, and we get to see them several times. So she calls one of her friends, big game hunter named Larry Sanders, played by Myron Healy. Is a nice hero type with a big square jaw, and she calls him to come and help her and discover what's going on. So it's just filled with a lot of fun and action and fistfights and daring exploits, not only by Panther Girl but by Larry. And it's I don't know. I have a special affection for these things, and they were all before my time. I mean, I never went to a movie theater where they were still showing these things. I was a little bit too young for that, but I think it would be great to have these during this day and age. But the Panther Girl, played by Phyllis Coates, you can see this outfit she's wearing here. Well, she wears that most of the time when she's out in the jungle doing her thing. When she's back in her bungalow, which is right in the center of the native village, I guess they all live in grass huts, and she lives in a bungalow. She dresses up in very nice, clothes and high heels, and she makes tea. But otherwise, she's very heroic. Now, she's sort of like Tarzan and Jane, where she's going into the jungle and swinging on vines back and forth like this, and swinging from one vine to another. She also has an elephant, which is always on call out in the jungle whenever she needs the elephant to carry her someplace. And the elephant's name is Bila. So she just goes out and she screams, Bila! And then you get this stock footage of an elephant who just, comes to attention and carries her and does whatever she wants it to do. So it's all very believable. Special effects actually are very cool. For 1955 in a black and white serial, I guess you really can't complain. But the Panther Girl, she does a lot of daring things. Now, this being 1955, the roles for men and women that were kind of strictly delineated, she has to be the frightened heroine every once in a while when she gets tied up by the bad guys and a lion is approaching her, and then she gets to scream and all that for the hero Larry to come and save her. But more often than not, I'd say about half the time, she's saving Larry. She fights a lion and she wins. She jumps into the water and takes on a crocodile, which is about to chomp Larry to death, and she wins. She does all kinds of cool things. So she's not just the little shrinking violet, dainty heroine. She pretty good role model for young girls in 1955. So, but there are some funny lines and something, things that aren't supposed to be funny, but they are funny in the context of today, I guess. For example, whenever the claw monsters they're just giant crawfish, and they're just kind of seen walking very slowly through the jungle and not really threatening anybody, although people look at them and go, oh my God, claw monsters, and they go running away. But every once in a while, you will see the claw monsters supposedly attacking somebody, and they attack Jean a couple of times, and basically you see these big claws that are made out of plastic, and they just grab somebody by the shoulder. And at one time that happens to her, and they're just kind of pulling her arm out of the socket, and of course Larry manages to save her. And when the claw monster is lets go and walks away, Larry says, "Are you all right?" And Jean, looking very stoic, says, "I'm fine, except for the shoulder." So some of us a little bit crazy, and I'm shaking the camera here, so I'm babbling like a fool. But yeah, Panther Girl of the Congo. The natives are played by probably unemployed black actors in Hollywood who would do anything to make a living, I guess, because they put on these really funny clothes and bad wigs, and they have to say lines like "me not go in jungle, me afraid of evil spirit monster," things like that, and constantly looking at her and saying, "Yes, Moana lady," and doing whatever the white people tell them to do. So it's very much of its time, but it's also I don't know. So what else I want to say here? Phyllis Coates, by the way, if you recognize that name, it's because she was the very first Lois Lane of the TV series back in the Superman 1950s TV series. She played Lois Lane in the first season and then didn't play the rest of it because she wasn't available. But she's a very, very good heroine, beautiful woman, very good actress, and she is still living. Phyllis Coates, when I last checked, she's still living. She's about 9 years old, and it would be wonderful to hear her talk about Panther Girl of the Congo. But anyway, if you have any any sense of nostalgia for certainly another time and another universe of filmmaking, you might want to check out some of these serials. And in the meantime, next up, Don Winslow of the Coast Guard. Yeah, right. Okay. Let me know what you think.